Hello and welcome back to Danish Lessons with the Missing N. We have already looked at adjectives and how you can put adjectives in front of nouns to describe the nouns and how you then have to conjugate this adjective in order to fit what type of noun we're talking about. However, there is one more case that we need to look at, and that is when we're talking about a specific noun, so the something, and you want to describe that with an adjective because that happens in a slightly different way. The easiest way to describe this is with an example. So let's take the example of the ugly duckling. So duckling in Danish is the word, illing. That's that funny AE letter and then two L's, ing, illing. And this is an an N-type noun, so it's in illing. And if you want to say an ugly duckling, it's en grim illing. Now this is just an ugly duckling. I'll remind you that to say, let's start with the fact that this is an N-type noun, and so if this had been a T-type noun, that would become grimt, and if you were talking about several ducklings, it would become grim. So we've added an E here to the end, and for reasons that we'll go into in a later lesson, this M doubles here. It's a bit like, no, we'll get to all that. So, also, I'll remind you that to say the duckling, what we do is we take this word in front and basically put it at the back. So, illing becomes illingen, and that on its own is the duckling. So, logic would suggest that to say the duckling, you simply put the adjective here, Grim Illingen, and you've got the duckling. No, unfortunately that is not how you would form that. I mean, if you wanted to say the duckling is ugly, sure you can say, let me write this out, Illingen, that's an L not a T, Grim. That is correct, that is proper grammar. The duckling is ugly, that is correct, but this up here, Grim Illingen, is no good. If you want to say the ugly duckling, you have to use this the word that we've looked at previously. Remember that because this is an N-type noun, we use den as opposed to d. So den, and then we add duckling over here, den illing, and we want to add the adjective in the middle, which is ugly, and then we need to conjugate this, we need the ending here, and the ending in this case is grimme. Note that this is exactly like the plural ending, although in this case it's perhaps simpler to think of this as the ending that you give it when it's a definite noun, when you're talking about a specific instance of that noun. And the way you form this ending is by adding an E at the end, which is exactly the way you would do it for plurals as well. So it's like they're two different ways of conjugating it, which just happens to be the same way. Now again, there's this double M here, which we'll talk about later, maybe just so you have got some idea of why it's happening. It's a bit like why in English the word nap can turn into napping with a double P. That's sort of the same reason here, but let's not worry about that too much for now. This is how you would say the ugly duckling. Den grimme illing. That's all for this time. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching. If you want to know more, please follow me on Twitter. Until next time, ha' det godt.